Well, Merry Christmas, Jessica.
Oh, you're so aggressive.
Sorry.
Merry Christmas, Dan.
Merry Christmas. I don't know if this will be our last episode before Christmas. By all accounts, it shouldn't be. But just based on how things are going, it could be. So I just want to make sure.
But then shouldn't next week... Wait, no, next week is the week before, isn't it? Never mind, you're correct.
So this is likely, given how nutty our lives have been, this is likely our last episode before Christmas. Who knows? Maybe we're going to surprise you with some Christmas treats for your ears. More me being loud. But Merry Christmas. Now, we don't have any more Christmas songs. If you're new to the podcast, you do have to go back into the archives. We have covered every Relient K Christmas song, of which there are 20. Because there's the 17 between Deck the Hall, Bruise Your Hands, and All Work and No Play Makes Reindeer a Bad Boy. And then there are 3 extra songs from the iTunes exclusive version of Let It Snow Baby, Let It Reindeer, which I didn't really say the first time. Anyway, because there's no more Christmas songs, I just wanted to make sure to give a very special Christmas greeting to all of our Sadie Hawkins pod listeners.
Indeed.
Yep, and who better to give that message than a special friend of mine.
Oh, wow.
A special friend who I was in the backyard building.
What?
I was out there, wouldn't you believe it? I was making a snowman.
We don't have a backyard.
And Los Angeles doesn't have snow in the... We did.
Yeah.
But that's how it happened today. It's a Christmas miracle. We had a backyard, and it was filled with snow, so I made a snowman. And when I put... it was either a magic hat or a magic corncob pipe. I don't remember. One or the other was magic, and here he comes. He's sloshing in right now. He's clumping in. He's clumping in. It's our very new friend, Frosty the Snowman. Hello there, it's me, Frosty the Snowman!
Well, hi, Frosty.
It's nice to be here!
Oh my god.
I didn't do a good job constructing his mouth.
I hear that.
I was low on lumps of coal. Even though it was surprising we had a backyard, it was surprising that it had snowed. We still didn't have a lot of lumps of coal around to make his mouth.
Right. Cooper, what do you think of the giant snowman?
How are you doing, Cooper?
He's definitely looking at me like, Mom, is it okay? It's okay, honey.
Oh, it's nice to be here.
Good Lord.
I'll be back on Christmas Day.
Nice to have you.
It's wonderful to have
Frosty.
you. So magical.
I think it was his hat that was magical. Thanks for visiting, Frosty. We'll see you again on Christmas Day. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sadie Hawkins Pod.
Hello. There's water everywhere now.
It's like that old
It's like
Lipton
a mini
iced
flood.
tea commercial. Or that wasn't Lipton iced tea. Maybe it was.
It was a
No,
soup.
it was Campbell's soup.
Campbell's
That's
soup.
right. But Lipton iced tea did have a snowman who would kind of trudge it and occasionally melt a little bit. And he'd go to the 7-Eleven for something for the tea.
But yeah, there was a Campbell's soup commercial where a snowman walks his way home, walks inside the house, eats some Campbell's soup, and he melts, and there's a little boy inside. So, of course... Now, we didn't offer my Frosty the Snowman,
Yeah.
any soup, but I did put a little boy, not Cooper.
Oh, no.
Just a neighborhood kid. I put him inside the snowman. So maybe it's a little less magic that he was moving around, and more like he was trying to escape.
Danny, we should have helped that child.
I said, you give me a bit for the opening of the podcast.
Well, I hope you at least
And I'll hose you down.
$5 or something. I'll hose you down. All right.
Instead, he basically made a mini flood in our apartment. So we'll see if I help him.
Well, any other top of the show business?
we do have top of the show business. So
right.
I'm very disappointed in our listeners. Guys, it's more important than ever. We basically had our Thanksgiving episode last. This is our Christmas episode. And I said, call up 402-95-SADIE and count your blessings.
Oh, right.
And the person with the most blessings will win some sort of prize.
That's right.
I mean, I've got a magic hat or a corncob pipe. One or the other, 50-50 chance you're going to get the magic item. If you entered, which you didn't. We only had one contestant enter the...
Well, I guess they won.
They
won. Default.
So, David Park of Jimmy Eat Pod, a magic corncob pipe, or a magic hat, or a non-magic hat, or a non-magic corncob pipe.
I thought that they weren't even magic. There was just a child inside. Were they one of David Park's children?
It's Christmas time. Things are happening so fast that I'm kind of losing track.
Danny, go return David Park's children to him.
He can count that with his blessing. So when I do return them. So here is the only entry to the Sadie Hawkins Pod Count Your Blessings 2023 contest.
Hey, this is David from Jimmy Eat Pod, counting my blessings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Once you hit 20, you kind of start, I don't know, let's see, 20. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. Once you start adding spouses and kids and stuff, so 35, 36, 37. Now I'm away from people. I'd say 35 people, and then and now I'm into I guess the tangible blessing. 37, 38. And these are non-tangible, more ideas. 39. I think I'm gonna lose signal here, but let's call it 40. Let's call it a nice round 40. Counting my blessings.
Well, congratulations.
40 is a good number.
Out there, 40 is a great number. It's the winning number.
I thought for sure he was going to get to at least 182, but...
I mean, he had another minute and 35 seconds to have counted more blessings. And the other thing is, I'm not checking your blessings.
Cooper is.
I'm not gonna corroborate his blessings, so he could have just kept making them up. Oh, good Lord. I'm counting my blessings. Okay, Mama's gonna... I had him. Mama's gonna take...
Hey, babies. Hey.
Oh, you're both wearing orange shirts.
Aww.
So I've been digitizing family videos of Jessica's, and she, as a baby, looked so much like Cooper does now. So now I'm calling Cooper Mini Jessica, because I realized that he's basically Mini Jessica with a penis. Sorry, you know what? I shouldn't have mentioned he has a penis. That was his decision when he grows up to mention that or not. So I'm sorry, son, when you hear this in the future.
Jeez Louise,
but anyway, Merry Christmas. Should we call it there? Well, so yeah, I guess David Park wins something. He wins his children back from the snowman. And let's see.
And a very magical hat.
And a very magical hat. So then we have one other voicemail, and this is in reference to our latest Patreon episode, where we watched a bunch of sort of wacky YouTube videos that Jessica picked out.
Yeah, hi, this is, Jackson, Starship. I just want to call in and see if Danny and Jessica could give me a shout out.
Oh wait, this is not in reference to our Patreon. I figured out who this is. It's just the fact that they said this is Jackson's Starship, and the fact that we watched a Jefferson Airplane music video, their 90s music video in that Patreon. I thought that was the reference. But
I thought maybe Jefferson Airplane was calling up to let you know that they were going to continue to put a copyright strike on you.
Oh, yeah. So on our Patreon episode, we'll come back to Jackson Starship's voicemail in a second. But on our Patreon, and this only happened like twice in the history of, uploading these things to YouTube. Because I upload every episode on my own to YouTube, more from my own archiving if I need to go looking through things. But when we do a video Patreon, I also upload them unlisted to YouTube. Well, Jefferson Starship decided that us playing their 90s music video, not Jefferson Airplane, but Jefferson Starship's final album. Oh my gosh, I messed it up. Jefferson Airplane, not Jefferson Starship.
Nope.
But Jefferson Airplane's final album from the 90s. It might as well have been Jefferson Starship. The music video is called Planes. And it's wacky, it's wild, it's ridiculous. And it's also completely copyright strike to the video. No, it didn't strike the video. Because strike is when you, the YouTube copyright system works in, stages. We didn't get a strike. The video just got completely blocked. And I'm like, well, this is obnoxious. Because, yes, you can upload video to Patreon now. But it's just easier to watch things on YouTube. So I took it immediately to dispute. And they didn't reply. They had 7 days to reply, and it was one of those situations where, I wrote all my fair use excuse, exactly why this is a reaction video. Reaction video is even a drop-down pick you can pick when you're disputing something as fair use. It was definitely fair use, and we won. So I don't want to gloat too much because they could be out there listening.
So
Jefferson,
for Sadie Hawkins.
we know Jefferson. We know Jackson Starship is listening.
Yep.
So let's go back to this voicemail.
You make me some props on air. I recently finished my MBA from Western Governors University, and it wasn't really that recently. It was 5 or 6 months ago, but I couldn't figure out how to open Firefox and find this phone number to call in. It was really kind of I figured out how to open Firefox, but it just opened the one tab, and I was using that to look at Google Maps because I was trying to figure out how far it was to a Chinese restaurant that I wanted to get takeout from. To see if I was in the delivery zone, but I couldn't figure out how to open a second tab to try to get this phone number. So actually, I asked someone at work about it. He has a bachelor's degree in film, but he was able to show me how to open the Firefox. He uses Microsoft Edge, but that's not really the point. So yeah, I was just really hoping that you guys could give me a big congrats on getting that MBA, because I feel like it really shows how intellectual I am and smart. But I'm a listener of the podcast, and I really enjoy it. And thank you, and Merry Christmas. Thank you. Yeah, Merry Christmas. Bye.
So I know who that was. When I got this voicemail, I thought it was in reference to the Patreon episode, and then I thought that they were ripping on all my commentary recently about the difficulties with my job. I knew that's what they were commenting on. I'm like, who is this? Who is this? And I was Googling the phone number that it was from, and I was searching into my own contacts.
You did do some real detective work. And
then I was like, well, it's got to be a patron, right? Because they referenced Jefferson Starship. No, I figure out who it is. I won't say who it is. I won't spoil it. It's Jefferson. It's Jefferson Jackson. It's Jackson Starship, obviously. But he's calling and ribbing me about all the stuff I was talking about with my job recently. Because yes, I'm on leave now. This is our first episode since I went on leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it only started last week.
So I'm on paternity leave now. My job was just so insane, and I know no one wants to hear about it, but one of the main things is towards the end, they hired a new guy, and I think have I talked about this on the free episode? I know I talked about it.
I don't remember.
In the Patreon episode, but I'm supposed to be training this guy, offloading my tasks to this guy, and I spend an hour explaining how you use a web browser, and I couldn't believe this, and I don't think I knew this last time, but it turned out he has a master's degree, and I'm like, what? I don't want to rip on this guy specifically, but it was just kind of indicative of issues that I've had at this job, and yeah, I don't know, it's just so I don't care anymore. I'm free of that for now.
You don't, man. You're good.
If I go back, when I go back in 6 more weeks, but we'll see. There's still Christmas and New Year's between that. There's a whole new year ahead of us.
There's a Relient K show before that.
Oh, that's right. There'll be a Relient K show. And that's the next thing we need to talk about. Is we'll do some sort of meetup for the Relient K show happening on January 6th. So I was thinking like maybe the Capitol.
Yeah, I was going to say.
It didn't occur to me that the concert, the MXPX, Less Than Jake, Relient K, Smoking Pope show at the Palladium is on January 6th. I kind of forgot the significance of that date until Jessica pointed it out. I'm like, oh yeah. So anyway, that's what we're doing. We're meeting at the Capitol. Bring your signs and we'll be there. And anyway, I was like, what was I talking about? We want to do some sort of meetup. So the way I was thinking about it, like a podcast meetup, especially because I already know of a number of people who are flying out to Los Angeles specifically for this show. So I was thinking like you might want to meet the day before instead of being rushed on the day of. Like we could meet on the day of, but it's already going to be our very first time apart from Cooper for any extended period of time, so that will be an anxious day for us. So it might also be good not to be away from him for extra long, but we could also bring him to a meetup the day before or the day after. So let us know, anyone who is going to the Palladium show.
I thought you were going to put a poll out there.
I'll put a poll up after sort of announcing it here in the episode. So, but let us know, and where do you want to meet up? Cerritos Auto Square? That was my first pick. And I think that's it. Did you have any other top of the show business? How are you doing, Jess?
I don't think so.
How are you doing? How you going?
I'm going.
You going? Going where? Going crazy. Want to come with me?
Yep.
That's something my mom would say, and it's a thing that's like said by boomers.
Yes.
You don't say that anymore because you don't flippantly use the word crazy anymore.
You've said insane and other derivatives of at least 5 times so far in this episode of this podcast.
Hey, well, let me fix that old joke that my mom and her generation used to say.
Boy.
Ask me where I'm going.
Where are you going?
Wild. Want to go with me?
Well, here I go. Here we go.
Where you going? Here I go. I'm going crazy. Want to go with me? No. So anyway, I guess we're just getting into it. Getting into the song. 18 minutes in. This feels wrong. Something feels off, but okay. We didn't have a 2-hour opening?
I guess not.
So here I go. We're talking about the song Here I Go from the Bird and the B-Sides, but also from the Bird and the B-Sides. It's from the Bird and the B-Sides section of the Bird and the B-Sides.
Oh, gotcha.
So, it's been a while since you talked about it.
It's not from the Nashville Tennis EP?
It is not from the Nashville Tennis EP.
Oh, okay.
Did you not realize that?
No, I thought it was just from the Nashville Tennis EP part.
No, it's from the Bird and the B-Side section. So, I guess, just in case this is your first episode, and you have not previously heard a Nashville Tennis or Bird and the B-Sides episode, I just want to restate my beliefs, these things I believe about the Nashville Tennis EP. Do you not believe this thing? Do you not believe what I'm about to say?
Of course
it's difficult when we're raising a child and we have separate religious beliefs if you don't agree with me here.
Danny.
So the Nashville... so Bird and the B-Sides, right? Yeah! So Bird and the B-Sides released as a CD, and it comes with the Bird and the B-Sides and the Nashville Tennis EP. I said those out of order, but it comes with the Nashville Tennis EP and the Bird and the B-Sides. You think when you see the cover of something called The Bird and the B-Sides that it's just going to be a collection of B-Sides. But it's actually a whole bunch of new songs. This isn't news to anyone who's a Relient K fan. But it's a whole bunch of new songs, and then the back half is a whole bunch of B-Sides. And there's a little indicator within the album itself, that little section where all the guys in Relient K are kind of pretending to be bees. And like, welcome to the Bird and the B-Sides. But what I believe, and what we kind of came upon, is that the Nashville Tennis EP is a secret full-length album. It's called the Nashville Tennis EP because it's a cute little pun, but really, it's a full-length album. And they did it this way because they said to themselves, Goatee Records requires us to release like a full-length album worth of stuff this year. So we could do a B-side collection, and we could record a couple new songs. Common thing. Green Day did that. B-side collection with some new songs. people do greatest hits collections with a new song on there. But instead, they recorded an entire album's worth of material and bundled it with some B-sides. And they didn't want it to be called their 6th canonical album. So they pretended it's an EP, even though it is absolutely not an EP's worth of material. But this song doesn't come from that. This song comes from the B-sides section. However, it's not really a B-side.
It's a demo.
It's a demo. Well, we'll get to that. But it's an unreleased recording. As far as I can tell, when you look at the Bird and the B-sides half of the Nashville, Tennessee EP, oh my gosh. When you look at the Bird and the B-sides section of the Bird and the B-sides, a lot of the tracks actually are B-sides. They're songs that were on previous EPs or on compilations or were just kind of rare, and then they get bundled together in this album. But Here I Go, as far as I can tell, was not previously released anywhere. Did you find information about this being previously released?
I did not. The only thing that I came across that was kind of odd was that, there's 2 Genius entries for this. One with the oohs and the ahs in it, one without.
Oh.
And one has demo at the end and one doesn't. But I didn't actually see anything about it being released anywhere. And when listening through, I thought that the lyrics were really, thematically on par sort of with Forget Not Slow Down, like we see a lot on the Nashville, Tennessee EP side of the Bird and the B-sides.
I didn't even get to that section of it, but I guess since it ties in together now with what you're saying. My other belief that I've come across after covering so many Nashville, Tennessee EP songs on this podcast is that the Nashville, Tennessee EP is in large part a prequel to Forget Not Slow Down. Is he laughing? You think my opinions are funny? Yeah. He's like, no, Dad, I just hear you talk about this every single day. So a lot of the new material on the Nashville, Tennessee EP, that particularly the song sung by Thiessen, because everyone in the band has a song on the Nashville, Tennessee EP, but a lot of the new material, when you dissect those songs, you realize he's singing about the same relationship from Forget and Not Slow Down. And also, one of the facts about the Nashville, Tennessee EP is that, they had to release a certain amount of new material with this B-side collection. We've had that pretty much confirmed in both our interviews with John Schneck and our interview with Brad Moist of Goatee Records. And it makes sense that this is in the timeline after 57 years ago. This is in the timeline of Matt Thiessen being in that relationship, in that engagement with the woman who Forget Not Slow Down is about. So a lot of the material would be about that relationship and the dissolution of that relationship. So a bunch of the songs of original material by Matt Thiessen, I believe, are songs that in another dimension, in another multiversal universe, could have been on Forget Not Slow Down. And that's a really good point, because now I'm looking right at the Wikipedia for this album, and it says of this song previously unreleased. Because the Nashville, Tennessee, the Bird and the B-sides on Wikipedia tells you where the B-sides come from. They tell you if it comes from the Vinyl Countdown or Employee of the Month EP or the whatever, but this says previously unreleased song.
Yeah, so I'd just be really interested to know what era it comes from, because it could almost, so musically, I think it could have come from, 5 Score, but lyrically, it really does feel like it could fit in with, Forget Not Slow Down, which I would love to hear a Forget Not Slow Down version of this song.
Right.
Instead of just this demo. I'd like to hear, the way that Forget Not Slow Down was produced and recorded, but with this track.
So my feeling now I didn't consider what you're saying, that the lyrics could actually be from 5 Score or from the post 5 Score era. That I'm curious about as well. But when I listen to this song, it just doesn't sound like a demo.
Yeah.
And I actually question entirely if this actually is a demo. And I don't necessarily believe that without empirical evidence. And one thing I will say to support my sort of skepticism of this being a demo is that the Jefferson Airplane quote-unquote demo is 2 tracks later. And that is not a demo. It is absolutely not a demo. It's called Jefferson Airplane Demo on Bird and the B-Sides, but it is a track from the Creepy EP,
Right.
and it's a fully finished track. If you look at the Creepy EP, it's a mixed and mastered track. It's a completed track. It's a song that they did, like, it's actually, and again, I don't have supporting evidence about this, but I remember talking to Relient K at the time and them saying that the Jefferson Airplane on Creepy EP was an Earthquakes project, was an Earthquake song.
Right.
So it seems to me that when you hear the Jefferson Airplane demo, it's a completed song. It's a little bit rawer in sound than a typical Relient K song, even
rawer.
from the time. A little rawer in sound. But I think that's because it's not really a Relient K song. It's a Matt Thiessen and the Earthquake song. But mostly, it's just, when it's on the Creepy EP, it doesn't say Jefferson Airplane demo. It just says Jefferson Airplane. And then it has the credits for being mixed and mastered. It's a completed track. But now, they put it on the B-side collection, and they're like, oh, let's just call that a demo, because, like, 2 albums later... Really? No, but 1, 2, like, yeah, 2, no, just 1 album later. 1 album later, but like 2 years later, they say, let's redo Jefferson Airplane as a full-on Relient K song, electric guitar. Just because it goes from acoustic guitar to electric doesn't mean, that isn't proof that this was a demo. Anyway, I rattle on about that. But that's just to say that, like, in hindsight, they might retroactively claim it's a demo, but I don't believe that Jefferson Airplane is a demo or was a demo when it was completed. I think it's only a demo retroactively. Here, I feel like when I listen to Here I Go, it sounds like a absolutely completed song. Like, you could have put this song on an album. It might have been one of the weaker songs on any album, but it definitely sounds like a fully complete song. It does not sound like a demo. It does not feel like a demo. And yet they call it a demo. And I think that's just because... And I have thoughts on why they might have done that. But maybe because it's an unreleased song. So they just want to claim it's a demo. Maybe there's some part of the song, some way in which they felt about the finished song that didn't feel good enough to go on an album. Maybe it was part of recording sessions for 5 Score. Mm-hmm. Or maybe it was like an early tracking for 5 Score. You know, another thing where they say demo is the quote-unquote demos for Life in General. Life in General, the MXPX album. When you get Let It Happen, the B-side collection as well, there's a bunch of things, there's a bunch of demo tracks for Life in General tracks on Let It Happen. But the truth is, those are not demos. A Magnified Pod actually asked this question of Bob Moon, the original producer of Life in General, who the thing for MXPX goes that MXPX went into the studio, started recording Life in General, and it was not working out. There was something wrong with the feeling, the vibe of the album. It wasn't sounding what they wanted to get to for the next album. So they amicably split with Bob Moon, and they went with Steve Kravac. Well, retroactively, those Bob Moon sessions became known as demos, but they weren't demos. They were these studio recordings. So there's another proven example of a band saying, well, here's some recordings that we did that weren't actually demos, because a demo should be an actual, like, demo, like a demonstration of here's what the song could sound like when we get into the studio and record it for real. But MXPX did get into the studio and record it for real. But in hindsight, they said, well, these recordings weren't good enough. Let's call them demos, instead of calling them the Bob Moon sessions.
It was brisk iced tea, not Lipton. It just hit my head. Brisk. That's why it's a snowman, because it's brisk out. Just hit my head. Sorry.
Anyway.
I know, Cooper. I can't believe I made that mistake. I'm sure everybody else was shouting, too.
So when I hear Here I Go, I think to myself, this sounds like a song that maybe they got into the studio to record. So maybe, hypothetically, I don't believe this, but this is a hypothetical. They got into the studio to start sessions for 5 Score. They did this song, and then as 5 Score was rolling, they're like, well, wow, that Here I Go song doesn't sound like it fits in with 5 Score at all. That's not going in 5 Score. Let's pretend it's a demo and release it on our B-side collection later.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, yeah, because I like it. It's a nice little pop punk jam with harmonizing, and yeah, it's very like 5 Score era sounding to me.
Yeah, it's definitely more. there's a lot more. I mean, I think we've talked about it with other Bird and the B-Sides section of Bird and the B-Sides, the CD songs, that there's a lot more actual pop punk on Bird and the B-Sides than a lot of other like pop rock that Relient K really does, right?
Yeah.
And this is a song that definitely feels more like, sort of generically might be a bad term, but more like universally accepted as pop punk sound. Not universally accepted, because everything that's any rock that's fast is called pop punk, but more like unanimously, I don't know. This definitely sounds more legitimately punk pop than like pop rock.
Yeah. And it's interesting that they have a song, even though they're on two different sides of the album. It's interesting that they have a song called Where Do I Go From Here and Here I Go on the same album, because those are just very similar titles. And so in my Google search results this week, there were a bunch of things popping up for Where Do I Go From Here.
Right. And that's also one other reason why I think maybe they pretend that this is a demo. Is that I do think, I use the word generic again, but I don't mean it that harshly. I think this is a pretty generic Relient K track.
Yeah.
I think there's something about this track that's kind of not up to snuff with where they were as a band by this point. I do not think this is a bad song. I think this is a pretty good song. And I know what I'm saying makes it sound like I don't think it's a good song, but I do think it's kind of the most forgettable and like even-keeled, on par. It's the most on par song on this album. It's kind of the most wallpaper you can think of. I don't think I would put it in that category of like, if you put Relient K in an AI if you put Relient K in an AI generator, Cooper's playing with the cord for the
I just
microphone.
moved it. Sorry about that. He snapped it against the microphone.
I don't think if you asked an AI to create a Relient K song, I don't think it would create this, because I think it's just a little bit more bland for Relient K, or not bland, that's way too harsh a word, but it's kind of more expected. It's kind of more on par. It's kind of more just like stock.
Yeah.
Stock. That's what I'm looking for. It's a very stock Relient K song. So another thing that I think is maybe they called it a demo because while this song works in and of itself, it doesn't really work in the bigger picture of any other Relient K album. Like, I couldn't really, if this song was on 5 Score or was on Forget and Not Slow Down, I think it kind of would be the most forgettable of those. I don't think, I couldn't imagine this being on Forget and Not Slow Down. But I could imagine a version of this being on 5 Score, and I think it would kind of be the most forgettable on there, because it's kind of the most forgettable on here as well. Because even the Sonographer, which I do believe is a demo, because it sounds like a demo.
Oh my gosh.
And it's a
we'll
weird...
get to it when we get there,
Yeah.
but what even is the Stenographer?
It's a weird song,
It's a really
but it's a
weird song.
standout because it's so weird. There's nothing standout about this track at all. It's very on par. It's very well done. It's very well written, but it is just kind of a stock song. And we've been here before with other songs like Operation. Like Operation, which was kind of like worked as an early Relient K song, but definitely didn't feel up to snuff with even the first album. Like, it definitely felt like a standout in a bad way from the first album. So I think that might be another reason why it's a demo. I feel like maybe this song needed more writing. And there are examples in Relient K's discography with Fallen Man, with Jefferson Airplane, with The Thief and There Was No Thief, of songs being revised. So, like, this song goes exactly where you think it's going to go. And every time you re-listen to this song, it goes back to those same places you expect it to go in a pop-punk sort of framework. But it doesn't go anywhere surprising. It doesn't go anywhere else. And not saying that every song needs to go somewhere else, but I think, like, when you put this song against everything else, even on the Bird and the B-sides, there's just nothing special or worth standing out from anything else, and it just becomes wallpaper. I do think it's a good song. I just think, like, and I think the message is really great. The message actually really spoke to me in where I am in my life right now. But I do think that this is a song that feels like, if you call it a demo, even if this is actually a final studio track that was intended to go on an album, and they're just retroactively calling it a demo, I can see how, as a demo, the song itself could use more writing. You could write another part. Maybe it needs a pre-chorus. Maybe it needs to be moved around a little bit. Maybe there was no thief version of Here I Go. And to sort of go in with that sort of generic Relient K feeling, the title itself also feels like a placeholder. This has to be the most generic Relient K song title of all time. Because in the chorus he says, Here I Go. So the song's called Here I Go.
Right.
Like, this needs a song. If this song was revised and worked on and pushed a little further, you probably need a better title than Here I Go, especially since the words in this title appear in multiple other Relient K songs.
Right.
Like, you might not get an AI to write exactly this song, but you absolutely could get an AI to come up with this song title for Relient K.
Would you like to know what other bands or artists have songs called Here I Go?
Sure.
Because that did pop up in my deep dive.
Okay.
According to Wikipedia, there's a 2, that's the number 2, Ultimate song, a Syd Barrett song, The Screaming Jets, Infamous Syndicate, Public Enemy from There's a Poison Going On, Relient K, Mystical from Mind of Mystical, and Cash Doll from The Vault. Is this 2 Ultimate?
This is Cash Doll.
Oh, okay. Oh, no, we gotta do some bleeping.
Oh. I just went to the Bluetooth. Here's Mystical.
Oh,
Whoa!
oh, goodness.
So there's a lot of like hip hop type songs with this
Yeah.
title. So Relient K really should have just written a hip hop song.
Yeah, they could have gotten Dippity Doin' to be on it.
for John Rubin.
Yeah.
Oh, we had to bleep that one.
Yeah,
Here's
bleep
Hustle
that.
Gang. Okay,
So
I don't know
there's
what else they're
also
gonna say.
a Hustle Gang who has a Here I Go. Well, then the
Wikipedia missed that.
Wikipedia needs to be updated. I was surprised. It felt like there were very few artists on here for a title that felt very generic. And I don't mean that in offense.
So, and then there's Here I Go Again.
Yeah. Doesn't count because of the again.
Right. Well, Here I Go seems like a very popular rap title.
Indeed.
So Relient K, where's that rap album? What if their next album is hip hop?
That would be amazing. Could you imagine that turn? People would be like, wait, I'm sorry. We thought that Collapsible Lung was a departure. What are we
despite like
doing
all the
now?
pop leanings of Collapsible Lung, it's not a hip hop album. It doesn't go in that direction.
That is true. That is a true statement.
That's money left on the table.
All right, let's go ahead and take our break, and then we'll come back. We'll go over the lyrics and deep dive, because it's pretty short on both our ends. It's fall, y'all, and you know what that means? Christmas is just around the corner, and what does that mean? A big, nice Christmas bonus, and where better to spend that than with your pals over at Sadie Hawkins Pod at patreon.com/Sadie Hawkins Pod.
That's right, over there you get our entire backlog of Patreon bonus episodes, which include us reading through the entirety of the quote-unquote Relient K book, The Complex Infrastructure Known as the Female Mind. We talk about all the K's for Karaoke songs that we haven't talked about on the main feed, and lots of other topics like songs that Matt Thiessen's been involved in, other compilations Relient K has been featured on, and lots of other topics. Plus, you'll get 2 more bonus episodes every month. And if you sign up, you'll be thanked on every episode, just like these people who include Jonathan, Matthew, Bjorn, Isaac, Kendall, Joshua, Daniel, Jay, Michael, Samantha, Jimmy Eat Pod, This Might Be a Podcast, Tucker, and Brady.
So head on over to Patreon now. See you there. So over on Genius, I'm going to, and they're really, the lyrics are basically the same on both versions of the page. This is just the official demo.
It's
I
very
guess you would say,
misleading because it makes it
version.
seem like there's a non-demo version of
Yeah.
the song out there, which
And
there isn't.
The picture is one of the Air for Free promo pictures of the mats
Oh.
on the other version.
Oh. We've seen weird things on Genius where like one of us will find a page and the other won't find the page.
Yeah.
From different, just because we're on different. So I wonder if someone once went looking for Here I Go.
Maybe.
And they couldn't find it, so then they recreated the page and they uploaded a recent photo of the mats.
So verse 1, oh, believe me, I have tried to work this out from the inside. Then I finally realized I just needed to move on with my life. Pre-chorus. Try to make something happen, not just sit around and wait for it. This place is like a prison. Cooper agrees. I think I'm gonna make a break for it. Chorus. Whoa, oh, here I go. It's like I'm living for the first time. Whoa, oh, here I go. And I'm thinking it's the first time I felt alive. Verse 2. I've been suppressed. I've been let down. Been pushed aside. Been pushed around. There's only one thing that I need. That's something you can't take from me. Pre-chorus. Try to make something happen, not just sit around and wait for it. This place is like a prison. I think I'm gonna make a break for it. And then the chorus again. And then the bridge. Move out, move on. You blink and I'm gone. I've only got one.
He came back to this. See, it was a demo. He came back to it, totally reworked it into the song Don't Blink to open Collapsible Lung.
I've only got one life left to live. I'll live it now. You have your doubts. I'll prove them wrong. This is the only thing I know. So here I go. And then it's the chorus again. So it seems like this is about like a relationship.
Oh, I guess so.
Not about like stepping out on God or anything.
Well, I didn't even think that at all. I thought it was an entirely different thing. And maybe it's because of how I've been feeling recently. But it seemed to me that he's maybe talking just about a life position. And I guess you could look at it's easy to fit that into a Christian lens of like God's plan for me. So if you want to look at it in the Christian way, you could say that. But it seemed like he was just talking about like doing what's right for him, maybe in like a job or school sense. That's kind of how I read it, especially because it's easy for me to fall onto that viewpoint of the song based off of how I've been feeling with my job recently, because to say this place is like a prison, I'm going to make a break for it, I'm like, that's how I've been feeling recently. So it was really easy for me to identify that thing in my life with this song. Believe me, I tried to work this out from the inside. Then I finally realized I just need to move on with my life. Yeah, this could be about like anything.
Yeah, you're right.
Those words could be about anything. Those words could be about, I tried to work this out from the inside. If it said we tried to work this out from the inside, well, then he's talking about a relationship. But he said,
totally.
I've tried to work this out from the inside. So this could be literally anything. This could be a job situation. This could be a work situation. This could be a... those are the exact same thing, Danny. Those are synonyms. This could be a job situation.
It could be anything.
This could be a school situation.
It is very vague.
This could even be like a living situation. Like this could be like a roommate thing.
Right.
Like I've tried to work out my living situation with my roommates from the inside, but it's not working out. This apartment feels like a prison. Time to make a break for it.
Yeah, I've
gotta
been
get my own
suppressed,
apartment.
I've been let down, been pushed aside, been pushed around.
I don't think that it's not seeming like there's actually meant to be anything that this song is about. And you can read whatever you want into it. Like, I read what I read into it, and my feelings about my job recently fit this song 100%. But if you're in a bad relationship, or a relationship that's just not even bad, just not working out, or you don't understand what God's plan is for you, I feel like this works in any way. And maybe this is just a general, like, gotta find my way in life song.
Yeah, I think you're totally correct on that one. I think, you're super right.
There's nothing in here that screams...
It could literally be anything.
There's nothing in here that screams Christ. There's nothing in here that screams relationship. There's, and like I said, I felt this song to my core based off of how bad my job became. And, I think a lot of us have had this experience with school. There's a lot of, like, punk songs about, like, school sucks and I don't want to be here. There's a lot of songs about how work sucks. I know. She left me roses by the stairs. Surprise, just let me know she cares. So, and that kind of adds to the genericism of, if that's the word, the generica of the song, is the fact that, like, this song really, if this song's a demo, I really feel like the demo is the lyrics. I feel like somehow they finalized a very clearly, like, this is a well-defined and well-recorded and produced song. It does not feel like a demo. But maybe the demo is the lyrics. Like, this song, this writing needed some extra work because it's very generic. It's very true. Again, any criticism I'm leveling at this song doesn't take away from its value. I'm just saying that it's a very generic song at its core, a little more generic than I think I've seen in any particular Relient K song before. Like, you know, even when I say that, like, even if you criticize Collapsible Lung songs as not feeling like what you expect from Relient K, there's nothing generic about those songs. Those songs are about very specific things, but yet somehow this song can be about literally anything.
Right.
Any situation you want to get out of. And that just makes it a little bit more even generic. And down to the song title just being a reference to the chorus, and the words in the song title having all been used in other Relient K songs more effectively.
Yeah, so we also have song meanings this week.
Okay.
There are 4 of them total.
Okay.
The first comment...
Also, this, not a popular song. I do think that this is probably on a tier list. Not a tier list, because that's judge it. Because then again, you have to judge a tier list. You have to judge the songs and how good they are. But I feel like on streaming results, if like everyone, like, you go pick one song, like, this is probably, I feel like this would be the least streamed song. Again, that's not a good metric because usually the least streamed songs are on the back half of an album. I feel like we've talked about it with songs that I can't even remember, but we've talked about it with previous albums, how every album has the one song that's the most forgettable, and not to say it's bad, it's just the most forgettable. This is that song for Bird and the B-Sides.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally get it, although I would also argue that the stenographer is probably right up there.
But that's not a forgettable song because it's so weird.
I suppose you're right. So... Artsy 101 on December 8th, 2008, almost however many years ago exactly, said, "What? Why are there hardly any comments? This is an awesome song. I love how upbeat and joyful it sounds. It's something that I like to listen to when I'm not in the best mood. This song is about making the best of what you have, moving on and taking a risk to try and make things better."
Yeah, I think that's exactly what the song's about.
Into the Eller Wave at 7-11 on March 14th, 2009 said, "Awesome song. It's such a fun, upbeat song. Love it." Daydreamer 93 on May 4th, 2009 said, "I love this song. I think it's about finding God, smiley face, and how he helps you live your life to the fullest."
Okay. I mean, this song's about anything you want, so...
Sure. Rockstar 729 on August 14th, 2008 said, "Never heard it before, but it sounds cool. I wanted to be the first to post."
Well, what do they mean by that? Never heard it before, but it sounds cool, meaning the lyrics I've seen written down sound cool?
I'm guessing they mean, like, they just heard the song for the first time and came to song meetings, and they're like, hey, nobody else has commented on this yet. Woo, first to post, or whatever the thing is now. And that's what we have for Deep Dive.
Okay. Well, you know what they could do with this song? To make it a little bit less generic, make it a little bit more memorable, and also tied into the season. I have a little Christmas version in my head.
Oh, boy.
Here we go. Ho, ho, ho. Meeting Santa for the first time. Here we go. Ho, ho, ho. What do you think?
I love it. I thought you were going to keep going, but that's it.
That's all I got. Ho, ho, ho.
It's
Here
good.
I go.
I like
Meeting
this
Santa for
workshop
the first
session.
time.
You're doing great.
So if it's a demo, it's because Matt Thiessen just didn't land on the idea that this is a holiday song.
Right.
Deep down inside, this is the missing 21st Relient K Christmas song. From End to End. That's another song that we've talked about how it's
right.
like, it's an okay song, but it is the most forgettable song on the majority of Two Lefts Don't Make a Right. Is there one of those from
Oh, I don't know.
I think that changes with everybody.
Yeah.
I think that everyone has a song that's like, what's your least favorite or your least memorable song on any album? I don't know if we landed on that for I think that's just too much of a wall-to-wall
that one's
banger.
really hard to say.
Oh, I know exactly what it is for the self-titled. At least where we landed, not counting like Anchorage being a short little thing.
It's just all of them for Collapsible Lung.
When You're Around. Or Benediction is also a short song. But When You're Around, I think, is like the most forgettable song on the self-titled. And again, I am not saying these are bad songs.
Do you know what the most forgettable song on 5 Score is for me? Pretty much all of them. I'm so sorry. Sometimes Danny will play a song and I'd be like, oh, I've never heard this before. And Danny will be like, we covered it on the podcast. You say it every time this song comes on.
I should just like one day be like, Jessica, there's a new Relient K song. Don't go listen to it. Don't look it up. We're going to listen to it on mic for the first time. And then I just play something from one of the albums. I just get you. And you're like, wait a minute.
It happened with the stenographer. I was like, what is this? And Danny was like, it's the song after the song we're covering this week. And I was like, oh.
Reminder to everyone that First Three Gears is on Spotify again.
Whoop, whoop.
And so is, and I think for the first time, is That's My Jam. There we go. That's My Jam for the first time. Whoa. Collapsible Lung Deluxe Edition. What's the most forgettable? I'm moving on to my part in a second.
Okay.
I don't think there's anything that forgettable on air for free either.
Yeah.
Every song has its own feeling. That's the thing about Relient K's albums is that like they're one of those bands that I don't think a lot of bands can do, where each song has its own unique character. Like there's a lot of bands where they have a sound and a lot of different songs sort of vibe with that sound. But to have a band where every song has a slightly different character to it, I don't mean like a personality. I just mean like a characterization, a feeling, a vibe. Like every song has its own sort of motif and just vibe that gives it a unique feeling, but that all those songs also blend together into one coherent album tone vibe overall. That's a very rare and difficult thing to achieve. Hi. He's smiling at me. Cooper's smiling at me. He really wants Jessica's water.
Yep.
Hi. I love ska bands. I love ska music, but there's only really a handful of ska bands that actually are able to achieve that as well. Like there are a lot of other bands, and they can usually achieve that through lyrics, unless maybe you're like a ska punk band, ska rock band. You can do other sort of musical vibes, but like to be a band where every song has a very different sort of tonal vibe or a different idea that gives it a separate character, that's a hard thing to achieve. So I think when you land on these songs like From End to End or Here I Go, where it feels more generic within the framework, within the discography of the band, that's almost a compliment, because it took that many songs until you land on a song that just kind of feels samey compared to the rest of everything. Anyway, there's really not a lot for this song, as I mentioned. There's one guitar cover. You want to hear that? That's how clawing we are for content in my section. Well, this is a Power Flash production. This is a production by Power Flash Productions.
Wow.
So it must be a pretty good production, if it's actually called a production. It's not just one really dark looking image of someone wearing their athletic pullover and their head's cut off in the image and they're just playing guitar to this song.
Yep. Yeah, very compressed.
I wonder if these are the right chords they're playing, because they sound a little... What chords, bro? Relient Kaner says, wow, sounds... Oh, I didn't say who this is. This is uploaded by PowerFlash13. So Relient Kaner said 14 years ago, wow, sounds great. Allison Odell 22 said, I've recently become obsessed with this song, and I was pleasantly surprised by how good this cover actually was. Well, it's not really a cover, but completely flawless. I love your fingerings for that beginning riff. You did it more efficiently than I was thinking. Great job. Thinking. I get what they're saying, but like you did it better than you did it better than I would imagine I would do, is what they meant. Because let me see how complicated this is. It's not that complicated. I'm not a good... It's like all bar chords.
April says, no, it's all bark chords.
Yeah. I mean, are these power chords technically? These look like... For as little about guitar as I know, these all look like kind of power chord type things. I don't know anything about music. Don't trust me. Rano Spark April! Hey! You come over here and listen to what Rano Sparky 246 had to say. That was so awesome. Do you have the tabs for that, please? I wanted to learn that song so badly. LOL. Tonguey face.
Also, a question we get a lot is, does April's barking bother Cooper? No, it doesn't. Him crying right now has nothing to do with that. She sits there and barks like in his face, and I'm like, no, don't do that. You're gonna hurt the baby's ears. And he just sits there. I guess he heard her while he was still inside of me, and ever since he's been born, he has not once wondered why she's making that noise. Doesn't bother him. He can often sleep through it.
So there's only one other YouTube video for Here I Go by Relient K, and it's a fan music video. And it's just notable for one thing I wanted to point out. So this is uploaded by Sarah Naya Takes the Cake. SARA NYA Takes the Cake, all one word. 12 years ago. Comments disabled because I guess YouTube identified by the time they put in their children's policy that this person in the video is underage. So the comments are disabled. 482 views after 12 years. What's notable is it seems to me the video is very simple. It's a little boring. I mean, it's well shot. It's just a simple video. What's notable is that it's clearly the Sarah Naya did this video all by herself. It's just her waking up in bed, filming herself putting her shoes on, filming herself walking outside, then filming herself walking around her neighborhood and kind of looking around and saying, like, you know, just kind of looking around in her neighborhood. That's all there is to the entire video.
Okay.
Really simple. Maybe just a little exercise in editing for Sarah. What's notable to me, considering that it became clear to me as I watched this video, I'm like, oh, okay, she shot this by herself. When there's movement, it's because it's close up, so she's like holding it selfie style, even though this video is from 2011, right? So it's probably not shot on an iPhone. It's probably shot with some actual camera footage, an actual camera, and then using tripods for when she's walking away and stuff. What's notable is it starts with her alarm clock, and it says 3:33. So first of all, she's waking up pretty late. But it says 3:33, close up to the alarm clock, and then when it cuts to the wide shot, I guess it's the third shot. When it cuts to the wide shot, it's 3:34. So she paid attention to that continuity.
It's good stuff.
You know what I mean? Like, it would have been easy to, like, get a close-up of your clock on whatever time it happened to be.
Yeah.
And then by the time you went to get the shot of yourself getting up out of bed, the clock being whatever it was, but she went for that continuity.
That's
she probably,
good stuff.
maybe she even had it say 3:33, but it changed before she got the tripod set up and got over back in bed and was ready to do the shot. But, 3:34, hey, it changed in between shots. That's cool. That's great continuity. So I want to applaud Sarah Nye. I'm sorry I said the video is boring. I just meant, there's not a bunch going on in the video. It's not flashy. Simple little editing exercise. She has the most 2009 hair that ever happened in 2011, though. I love she has, big, puffy, big, full sort of emo hair. Let's see. And then there's the only other thing you didn't find them is TikToks. There's 2 TikToks.
Oh, wow. Yeah, TikTok did not pop up this time around.
Well, there's 2. I'll play the one that I did see, and it kind of pissed me off, and you'll get to hear it.
Oh, no!
You'll get to hear why it pissed me off.
With the sad boy pop-up.
He already said it. So, Mike, you can go to sounds for Here I Go by Relient K, and you'll find these 2, but Mike_Solano1 in 2021 uploaded this to TikTok.
With the sad boy pop-up lyric today, today's lyric. This place is like a prison. I think I'm gonna make a break for it. With the sad boy pop-up lyric.
So, it's a little...
the sad boy pop punk lyric
it's the
of the
sad
day.
It's the sad boy pop punk lyric of the day. Is it?
Sure.
Is it? I don't know. That just ticked me off. Maybe because I connected with this song really well based off of my experience for the last few months. Cooper is not a sad boy pop punk. He's a happy boy. He's dancing right now. He's loving this music. Hey, Cooper, you want to dance to your favorite song? Hold on, where is it? I don't want to play it from this TikTok. There we go. Yeah, dance for everybody. And drool. So, is it a sad boy? Well, here, listen to the song. Oh, what a sad emo pop punk boy this song is. I just find it so dismissive, and I understand it's like a trope to mock the pop punk. And yes, some of the pop punk emo stuff is ridiculous, and it's kind of worth making fun of. But then it becomes a point where it's like, oh, well, this place is like a prison and I'm going to make a break for it. Like, that's just a normal human experience. That's not like so emo or so dire. Like, this is a happy song and it's clearly about like taking care of yourself, right? This song is actually about, if this song is about nothing else, if you can pin this song to be about one thing and still encompass all other particular interpretations you can take, this song is about taking care of your own mental health, right?
Yeah.
And that is not sad pop punk boy shit.
Right.
Actually, taking care of yourself mentally is the antithesis of sad emo pop punk boy shit.
Right.
Right? Because sad emo pop punk boy stuff is like, I'm so sad and I'm glad I'm sad and I hate this town and I hate you, mom and dad. It's about dwelling. The mockable stuff in pop punk emo is the dwelling in the sadness or the overstating your sadness. But there's nothing overstated or dwelling in morose feelings about this song to me at all. So that's where I'm not trying to attack this TikToker, John Solano, directly, but I'm just saying, I get it. You had this idea, sad pop punk lyric of the day, and you go and you get a bunch of lyrics that are probably really laughably sad, but this is absolutely not one of them.
Right.
In a vacuum, you could say this place is like a prison, I'm going to make a break for it. If that's about your hometown, which the song could be about your hometown, then that could be the case. But really, the song is a very happy song, and it's about taking care of yourself. So it does not fit in that particular way of viewing it. Now, here is the TikTok. Here's the only, like, really weird thing that I found. Jesse.
What?
I'll explain it for everyone in a second. So this might warrant more investigation.
I'm like, what is happening? It's a man wearing a bunch of hats, like Caps for Sale, the children's book.
Aram J. Nazarian, 2022, January 15th, uploaded this video. It says, day 105 of buying my hat till David Dobrik buys my hat.
So he buys his own hat?
He buys his own hat, I guess, but there's a website. And David Dobrik.
Or is he telling someone to buy his hats?
I recognize the name David Dobrik. David Dobrik is like an internet personality of some kind. He's a Vine star. Okay. I've heard the name like mentioned in like things, but I've never seen his actual stuff. So buymyhat.com. I'll explain more of this in a second. This is a very weird visual. So it's buymyhat.com. And I guess he really wants a celebrity from the internet, from Vine, to buy his hat. So he keeps buying his own hat. This definitely warrants like investigation, but it's so strange. And what makes it shocking is that it's actually a hat that says buymyhat.com. The hat itself says buymyhat.com on it. Fun. But what's just really weird is it starts with the guy. His neck looks like it's gonna break under the weight. He's wearing. How do you even
balancing a ton of hats?
He's balancing maybe actually 100 hats on his head. 100 dad hats. 100 like baseball, not baseball style, but 100 dad hat style baseball hats on top of his head, all piled up on top of each other. Cooper's even looking at it. He's like, "How did he do that?" Cooper's looking at it. It's a really weird visual. And I think it's actually 100 hats on top of his head. You guys, I wish you could see this. It's so weird.
Go to TikTok, check it out.
Oh my gosh, and it really is just like hundreds of videos of this guy putting another hat on his head and another hat on his head. He just keeps going up. Now, I wonder if he cheated at all and like pinned them together so they wouldn't fall. But he still has to balance them on his head. Like, look how this one's leaning. I feel like he must have pinned them together somehow. Day 84. Did it ever happen? When did he give up, or is it still going?
Day 168 of Buys
Oh my gosh.
David Dobrik buys my hat.
Well, the most recent one was from November 22nd.
Oh, wow. Maybe he finally bought his hat.
We'll have to ask. Yay, you're back, said someone.
Oh, okay, never mind.
So he had taken a break. Well,
Day 167 of
well, wait a second.
168 of
So on November 17th, it was day 167. But then 2 weeks, 2 weeks later, it was suddenly day 168.
Day 168.
I'm so
The days
confused.
are just whenever he feels like it.
This is just at Buy My Hat. I said what his name is, Abram J. Nazarene or Nazarian Ryan, but it's actually at Buy My Hat on TikTok. We got to figure out, did he ever buy his hat?
Well, it sounds like not.
Buys my hat. David Dobrik buys my hat.
It's just like a weird stunt. So I went backwards, and here's his first 2020.
Day 2 of me buying my hat till David Dobrik buys my hat.
So it's buymyhat.com. I think we need to help. We need to use, Relient K's been interacting with us here and there on the social media. Do you think we can get David Dobrik to follow, help get the word out that David Dobrik, you really need to buy this guy's hat before his head caves, before his neck snaps. Here he is in the first video, which apparently is the second day. Okay. I don't know what happened to day one. Maybe it got taken down by copyright strikes or something. But here he is just wearing one hat on his head. And then it increases. And he keeps look how simple it was when it was double digits of hats. But once he reaches even by the time he reaches 50 hats, it just keeps growing and growing. I'm worried for this man's neck.
Yeah, use that Sadie Hawkins spot influence to get the word out.
So what I'm confused about, though, is that the sales gimmick here is it's day... Well, how can it be day 168 after 3 years?
Because that's just the day that he's buying another hat.
There's definitely some...
It doesn't happen every day.
There's definitely some time fudgery going on here.
Yeah.
But, I mean, what I'm confused about is... He's buying his own hat until this internet celebrity buys his hat. Mm-hmm. So that means he's spending money to himself. Now, this could be, if it's a print-on-demand company, I looked. BuyMyHat.com is a real website. It's there. You can buy the hat. It says BuyMyHat.com. You can get it in green or red or black. And this is not a paid advertisement, by the way.
I like to imagine he just has a box of them and just keeps adding from there, and that he's not wasting his money sending money to like a Redbubble.
That's what I'm thinking. Is like you could, if you are ethically telling the truth here, and you are buying your own hat, you're spending $15 of your own money.
Plus shipping. It's the hat is arriving to you. You're putting it on your head. You're filming another video because maybe
David
that's where
Dobrik.
Those days are going down.
Maybe
he has to wait for the shipping to come in.
Yes, that could be true. But you would. I have. I've set up Redbubble and TeePublic. That was Cooper. Right? He farted. I've bought my own stuff on TeePublic before, and the way it goes is, you spend whatever, $15, $20, and you're basically making back your own profit. But then some other things like, what's the other one? Teespring. You can actually just you can set the price down to cost and just buy it for yourself at cost. So if BuyMyHat.com if he's legitimately buying his own hat, I mean, congratulations to be committed to the bit. Some of these videos have, well, day 5.
Day 50 of buying my hat till David Dobrik buys my hat.
Day 50 has 56,000 views. All the other ones hover between like 2,000 and 5,000 views.
You gotta stop playing these songs, Dan. They're gonna come at us with the copyright strike. We're gonna have a whole other Jefferson Airplane situation on our hands.
Well, I did not expect Here I Go to connect us to this strange little rabbit hole of BuyMyHat.com. Again, not a paid advertisement. But hey, it's Christmas time. Jessica, I've been so busy, I haven't known what to get you for Christmas. I think I figured it out. I'm going to buy you a hat. I hope that when everyone sees us in January at the Hollywood Palladium, January 6th, you're wearing a BuyMyHat.com hat. And hopefully here in Los Angeles, David Dobrik is at the show, seeing his favorite band, the Smoking Popes. And we can all say, hey, David Dobrik, save this man's neck. Buy his hat.
Buy his hat.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we can't end there because we didn't actually say if we like the song more or less or the same.
So Jessica, how do you? Oh my gosh, I can't. Well, okay, an hour 13 minutes. That's not so bad. Oh, one thing that it's funny you said. I think Cooper peed himself. We got to change him real fast, but. You said how when you were searching for this song, what's the other song that's also on this album? Where Do I Go From Here? Came up. In doing my YouTube research, I also found our episode for Where Do I Go From Here on YouTube.
Yeah.
And the runtime was 55 minutes. And I'm like,
whoa.
What the hell is this? What were we thinking?
How do we put more time into this episode than that one?
I know. But I actually still feel weird that this is coming in at under 90 minutes. But it is what it is. Something about the Here songs on Bird and the B-Sides and Nashville Tennis just bring out that brevity. So, Jessica, what do you think of this song? Do you like it more the same or less than when we did not yet cover the song?
I think I like it about the same.
I think I like it about the same as well. Maybe I like it a little bit more, but I think I'll land on same.
Yeah, I feel exactly the same.
Yeah. Just kind of an oddly generic message, but very open interpretation. I really think the song just needs a little bit more work, and maybe that's why it's a demo. But I really don't believe that it was actually mechanically, operationally, physically a demo. I think
as we continue to go down the rabbit hole of Danny's conspiracy theories about the Bird and the B-Sides.
There's so many conspiracy theories around this album. Anyway, you can talk about all that with us in person when you see us. If you're coming to Los Angeles, Frosty the Snowman will be there.
Thanks for listening. Stay safe and healthy out there. And if you're traveling here for the show, safe travels.